You're now tuned into the fourth season of Atypical Voices in Our Time, the official podcast of Chemistry Productions, a media education company. Let's get it started.
That's AVIOT.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's the AVIOT podcast. I'm your gracious co-host, Jay Stokes, joined by Jay Random. My man, what's good?
Chilling, man. Everything's good over here. You know how we do.
Yeah,
In the
well,
state.
I'm seeing that there is a lot of confusion, a lot of talk about things not being good in this country. I know what's new.
Oh, wow.
But for another reason this time, because there's this whole talk of, oh, they're going to make everything segregated again. And I need to clarify some stuff when it comes to that. So I don't know if you heard about this whole segregation policy or that news that's come out recently.
Yeah, I heard about it.
So basically, what happened was, I'm reading from the article, this is from NPR, said that after a recent change by the Trump administration, the federal government no longer explicitly prohibits contractors from having segregated restaurants, waiting rooms, and drinking fountains, right? So it's pretty much, this came out in a public memo that was issued by the General Services Administration last month, in the month of February. We're in March right now. And so basically, segregation is still illegal under federal laws, okay? State and federal laws say that segregation is still illegal and discrimination is still illegal. So basically, this is more symbolic. So this is pretty much saying that federal contractors, it's not explicitly prohibited that federal contractors have segregated restaurants, waiting rooms, and drinking fountains, right? So that's just a change in the language, but it's not saying that, okay, now we're going back into segregation. I mean, if we're really being honest here, segregation never really left.
Nope.
It's just that it's remixed now. So nowadays, things are still segregated, but they'll use new terms like, oh, you weren't qualified enough, or, oh, well, we found somebody else that happens to be non-black, that happens to be non-white. We found someone who what I'm trying to say is they use language that discriminate against blacks and other marginalized groups who are non-white. And
Correct.
They find ways to do it, whether it's your income, because we know that black people don't earn as much as other groups. It'll be maybe some of the initiatives that you're part of. They say it's not a good fit for this company or something like that. I'm talking about job hiring in general.
Yeah.
And that is how they discriminate. I actually got something else to talk about regarding discrimination after I get your thoughts on this matter.
Yeah, I just think it's a waste of time for that. For I mean, once again, this administration just does things to waste people's time. You know, they really do. They it's like shock value, right? You think about it. How can you just say that you're overturning something that has something to do with the word segregation, but don't really give a context of what you actually are doing, right? So you're right. They're not getting rid of. So they're not bringing back segregation. So they say, right. But instead, so why do we care then? Like, why? So you're trying to say contractors can now segregate what? What could contractors do? So contractors, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I don't get it. So you're saying a contractor could build a restaurant and say whites only, and we're cool with that? Like,
the thing is, it's not explicitly prohibited.
If you're confused about what's going on with Trump's executive order on segregation, let me explain. Although Trump did sign an executive order to remove a prior ban on segregation, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is still in place, which means it is still illegal to segregate a protected class. However, the reason this is such a huge deal is because the federal government is in charge of enforcing the Civil Rights Act and investigating civil rights violations. By Trump signing this executive order, he is making it loud and clear that the federal government does not intend to do their part in enforcement or investigation. Effectively, what he's done is made it known to businesses that they don't need to abide by the Civil Rights Act because the government won't enforce it. Several federal agencies, like the Department of Homeland Security and the National Institute of Health, have already begun issuing notices to employees advising them not to consider the prior ban on segregation going forward.
Yeah,
Segregation is not explicitly prohibited, meaning
Listen.
that people are going to find a way to get around it, right? And they're going to say, all right, well, it's not explicitly prohibited, but we can use other words like no DEI.
Raise the price. How about that?
Raise the price, right?
That's all. Think about it. A lot of these restaurants now that you and I probably never went into, it's, the prices are too high. Like, and when we buy it too high, we don't mean we can't afford it too high. It just means it's not worth the money.
Correct.
You ever see like some of these steakhouses when you really don't see us going to those steakhouses because you're not going to get your money worth?
Correct.
See, we're all about our money worth, right?
Correct.
We're not about trying to prove to anyone that we can afford it. I'm not going to go somewhere when he giving me kitty plates, but like 2 string beans on it with some green sauce and a piece of steak that looked like it belonged in a dog mouth. And you're like, wait, what is this? And then the bill's like $300. You're like, I'm still hungry.
Damn.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But it could be the best quote unquote steak, but it's so expensive. We like, I'm not wasting my money. I want to get my money worth. So that's why I say once again, it's kind of like shock value, right? Boom. This is what he's doing. It's like, dude, listen, do your job, man. How about do your job, right? You talking about you want to be the president that no war ever happened on your watch. Well, take care of all these wars that we still funding.
Wait, he said that?
That's what he quote unquote wants to be known as the president. Can you ever hear him talking about, when I was president, that war would have never happened. So he's, what he's insinuating is that when he's the president, he's all about negotiation. He ain't about having war start. He can stop the war. Remember he said day one, he's going to stop the Ukraine and Russia war. What is it now? 2 months?
Yeah, by giving Russia the edge. That's probably how.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, come
it.
on, man, you a bad negotiator. You failed at a lot of businesses. So I just want people just to say, listen, don't hold his businesses on why you voted for this man. Because man, the way he failed at those businesses, he's lucky he still gets loans. Because nobody, an average person, is not getting loans after failing that many times and losing that much money.
So I just want to go back to this whole segregation clause or whatever. So Melissa Murray, who's a constitutional law professor at New York University, she had said that these provisions that require federal contractors to adhere to and comply with federal civil rights laws and to maintain integrated rather than segregated workplaces were all part of the federal government's efforts to facilitate the settlement that led to integration in the 1950s and 1960s. The fact that they are now excluding those provisions from the requirements for federal contractors speaks volumes. So it's pretty much laying the groundwork into what could potentially come through the pipeline. So maybe this is the beginning of going back to how segregation was back during our parents' time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're chipping away, right?
Correct.
But you also got to remember, too, they're also doing this in the name of DEI.
I'm so tired of hearing that term nowadays. I'm
tired of hearing it, too.
Because yeah, go ahead.
I'm tired of hearing it because it's just like, man, it's an overkill now.
It is.
It's an overkill. I know we're going to talk about some stuff relating to, removal of us because of DEI. So we're going to talk about that later. So I'm not going to bring that up. But yeah, it's just annoying right about now. It's like, can you just do your job? Whatever that is, can you just do your job? Because he does more talking. He act like this is The Apprentice. I mean, it's bad. It's to the point I can't stomach the news too much. That's why I only watch certain news because it's too much. It's too much.
If you think about it, though, he kind of is doing his job, this current president and his administration, because they're trying to bring white people to the front and white men specifically at the forefront of everything. I think with a lot of these initiatives that have made it more inclusive for people of all backgrounds to have equal opportunities to certain jobs or certain occupations, like equal, we say equal with air quotes, because even during the times when this administration wasn't in power, things still weren't equal.
No.
We still didn't have equity. But you have a segment of Americans, a lot of white men specifically, white Christian men, who feel it is their birthright to be on top. It is their birthright to have the final say with anything that goes on in life. They feel like they're gods on earth. And unfortunately, because they felt that way, especially I do think President Obama getting into office triggered them so much that everything we're seeing now with this current administration is a backlash to that. And I remember we were talking about this offline, but I wanted to know from your perspective, do you think you would have it so that President Barack Obama doesn't get into office if that means we don't deal with this current administration?
So I'm telling you right now, I'm a flip flop. So just let everybody know. Behind the scenes, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't want him, but no, I still would want him because at the end of the day, I would still want Barack Obama to serve. Behind the scenes, because I had a lot of time to think about it.
That's why I asked you. I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad you said to just ask you the question then, so you could think.
Yeah. Because to be honest with you, regardless, man, I mean, everything was written, right? Regardless of how it played out now, we needed that. You know, the country needed that. What I mean by the country needed that, because when you go back and look, you know, anytime he held a speech in the Senate, everybody stood up. After him, it's so divided. It's not even funny. You know, when Trump was in power, the Democrats didn't stand up. When Biden was in power, the Republicans didn't stand up. When Barack was in power, everyone stood up. So it's kind of like, you know, we're so divided now. No, we need to be, we as the people who's doing the voting, we need to remember at one point we were at least face value one, even though we knew it was two parties. We need to go back to not make America great again, but America first. And what I mean by America first, I mean, I vote for a Democrat, but, you know, I'm not tied to that party. Right about now, everybody's tied to a party because of, also because one side may say something off, so far left that we just can't stomach it, and vice versa. The same thing for whatever side you're voting for, right? So it just seems like right about now we're too busy fighting amongst each other, and I think we're leaving the door open for our true enemies, the true vet. I'm sorry, the true threat, and time will tell. But I think right about now we're so divided. It's just like it's just a waste of time.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we are divided, right? Meaning, the people who's doing the voting, but behind closed doors, the Democrats and Republicans are actually going out to dinner. They actually, they like each other. So it's like WWE, right? Back when we used to watch Hulk Hogan and be like, oh yeah, I'm a Hulkamaniac. We were young, whatever. I used to watch Hulk Hogan, right? And then all of a sudden, whoever Hulk Hogan, but we never liked Andre the Giant because, it was like, that's Hulk Hogan. That's his enemy. But these people never really had a problem with each other.
If you're listening to the AVIOT podcast on a streaming service, make sure to leave a rating and a review so we can grow our platform.
And that's how I feel like the Democrats and Republicans, like you see that, like we look at Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, every time you turn around, him and Trump, Trump would be in the same spot, in the same dinners. And it's kind of like these people don't dislike each other, but, it just seems like we're just so divided. It's just, I don't know. But
well,
I just wish that the president would do his job, whatever that is. And yeah, you're right. He's doing his job, Project 2025. He's doing that job. But I just need him to do the job. You talked about groceries, you talked about eggs, you talked about stopping wars, but instead you come in and you just stay on this divide and conquer tip. And is only thing it's doing is just, dividing the country even more.
That's correct.
Sorry for
Yeah.
my
No,
box.
no, no. I definitely hear you. And I was going to add to you were saying that the Democrats and Republicans, the politicians are friends behind closed doors. Yeah, they're all rich. Money talks with
Yeah,
them. That's what it is. It's all about
yeah.
money. What can make us more money? So speaking of money, I want to stick on that and kind of tie it into the segregation, discrimination, all that. I don't know if you saw this, but Google has agreed to pay $28 million to settle a lawsuit that claims it favored white and Asian employees by paying them more and putting them in higher career tracks than other workers.
Wow.
You said white and Asian?
White and Asian. So
What
this
about the Indian people?
no, the lawsuit. So Google has agreed to pay $28 million
To who?
to settle a class action lawsuit claiming
Okay.
that it favored white and Asian employees. So the lawsuit is claiming that Google it favored white and Asian employees and gave them promotions, gave them more money. So the person that led the lawsuit was Anna Cantu, who identifies as Mexican and racially indigenous. So I guess Mexican and tribal member. So she, along with other non-white, non-Asian employees, are going to be paid due to this lawsuit. So I want to get your thoughts on that before I go into the next part of this lawsuit.
To be honest, not surprised, right? And what I mean by that is, we see this in our workplace, right? We see, you and I were talking about, I was looking at something and I was kind of like, wow, okay. I don't really see a diversity.
Oh,
I mean,
yes. You're looking
I
at
might see a woman,
yes.
but I don't really see nothing really,
Yeah, so for
like
those of you who don't
the
know,
org charts.
just to clarify, me
Yeah.
and Jay random, we were just looking at org charts randomly, just looking at the org charts of certain high-end,
Yeah.
I guess, businesses and everything. And we saw that a lot of them did not have the diversity that
They speak about.
exactly.
So
It was just a random exercise that we decided to do. But go ahead.
yeah, definitely. So when it's all said and done, I'm not surprised. I'm happy they won. I'm hoping that it doesn't get appealed and they get the 28 million.
Oh, no, they're getting it. They're getting the money.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything, I feel, because this is what happens. Because now because Google, along with Facebook, Amazon, because of this administration, you can't now put a DEI class or the wording in your I forgot the name. No, not admission. Company policies. You can't put you can't put anything saying going forward we're gonna give everybody the equal rights. You can't. Because I'm pretty sure
because they technically can because it's still a private company, so they still can put that. Though this current administration is probably this current presidential administration probably gonna have an issue with that.
They're gonna have an issue with that. Don't forget the head of Google was at the inauguration, so
So sticking on this, the second part of this I wanted to say was the judge in this case agreed to the settlement for Cantu's lawyers were advocating for after they said they would exclude Black employees from the proposed class, meaning that Black employees had to be excluded from this lawsuit in order for it to proceed and for the money to be awarded.
You're kidding, right?
Probably said that word wrong. Awarded.
Listen.
I do. That's why I saved that second part, Gus.
Yeah, it's just, you know what? I think you and I, we talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. And it's just amazing how we live rent free in a lot of people's heads.
Yes.
It's amazing how they tell us to get over racism. Racism doesn't exist anymore, but then they do racist things like this. Like, I don't understand. Somebody has to explain to me why taking the word Black or taking us out of the verbiage helps this lawsuit, because we already know who didn't get promoted. We already know. And It's kind of crazy because does that mean now Black people Because let me tell you what's going to happen now. If we actually now do our own lawsuit, they're like, nah, prove it. Because let's be honest, it sucks though, because when you think about a lot of DEI, it's not just black people, it's black, brown, and then it's disabled, and it's women, you know. But for some strange reason, when you think of the word DEI or hear the word DEI, you don't think about a white woman, you don't think about a disabled person,
Nope.
You don't think about a brown person, you just think about a black person. So it's I'm not surprised. I would like to know, but we probably would never know why they had to take the word black out. Like I don't understand. I don't understand how, when it's all said and done, we live rent free and people had that we're not even thinking about.
Right. So I see you're getting visibly frustrated. I had other stories.
Mhm.
However, I know you said you wanted to talk about lighter topics at the beginning of this podcast episode. So I do have a lot of topics I could discuss throughout there. And I will pivot to this. Since we're talking about lawsuits, let's talk about how UMG, Universal Music Group, is moving to dismiss Aubrey Drake Graham's lawsuit against them for Not Like Us and what they said. You heard about that, Joe, right?
I heard it. They yo, UMG not playing. UMG is making sure that his stock is about as worthless as Tesla stock.
Damn.
Dang, that's a bar.
Well, I'm just saying, because they, Drake at one point was his next before this deal, before this beef started, Drake probably could have got 600 million, 700 million deal. He could have probably gotten that, because with the 400 million that he got from UMG the first time in 2022, I'm pretty sure they already recouped all that.
Right.
So, and even though Drake wasn't our cup of tea anymore, the people still were loving Drake, and the music was coming out, even though I thought it was not so good anymore. I just feel like his heydays was, his first catalog. I mean, his few catalogs that got sold. Anything after that is kind of like, I feel sometimes artists just talk because they got lips. So they just make music just to have catalogs. No one's going to listen to it, and they can have something that's tangible to try to sell in the future, So with Drake, I feel like Drake doesn't understand. He's about to lose everything, not just money. Because now I was watching YouTube and it said Drake is the first Karen rapper ever. Karen
Pretty much.
And I mean, also how he's going about suing the record company. He really should be suing Kendrick, but he can't sue Kendrick without him being also hit with a defamation.
Correct. I think that's why he's going around it like this.
And also, you can't sue Kendrick, because if he sued Kendrick, it's over. It's over. See,
yeah,
but we already know what he's trying to do.
Yeah. He's trying to get around it. What I do like,
get around it.
And
also, just want to let you know too.
Go ahead.
I wasn't frustrated. It's just funny that when we listen, so by all means, if you ever have topics, let's stick to it, because I'm not frustrated. I'm more passionate about it because, I'm glad it's the first time I'm hearing about this. So it's kind of like, these are raw reactions.
Yeah, I get you. It's more so.
Yeah, because I didn't even know. And I like how you made it a 2-part. Like, hey, they won 28 million. All right, cool. Da-da-da-da-da. But they had to get rid of blacks. What? F that 28 million. That 28 million.
Nah, listen, I totally get it. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot or anything. I was just more like, you know what? I ain't trying to have this be a vent session. You gotta feed it bit by bit. Like, I'm gonna give you different stories on different episodes.
And this is also why I changed my views on Barack. Because at the end of the day, no matter what they do, they can never ever edge him out. They can never ever edge him out of history.
That's true. And
never.
I look at it like
never.
This. Even going back to that, what I will say is, through President Barack Obama, we got the Affordable Health Care Act.
Correct.
So that's his legacy. You cannot, aside from being the first and probably only Black president in American history, his legacy is that you cannot take that away, because that hit everybody. That hit the poor, toothless people in West Virginia. That hit the Black disenfranchised people over in the Bay Area in California. That hit everybody. The junkies in New York. That hit, and I'm using all these terms and everything. This is just slight, y'all. I ain't trying to get down on anybody. But it hit everybody. But I will stress the toothless people of West Virginia. I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. It seems like every time they're interviewing people that are supporters of this administration is always those people who are uneducated and they don't know right from wrong. It is very frustrating. My thing is, yes, you can be uneducated. Just know how to just say, you know what? I don't know enough about this subject. I haven't heard enough opinions about it. You cannot just go by one point of view. I listen to point of views from everybody. I listen to point of views from people I do not agree with, so that if I have a problem, I can adequately and ooh, that's loud outside. What was that?
I know. I heard that too.
Yeah.
I thought that was your Alexa for a minute.
People be speeding down this road. I don't know why. But
was that a motorcycle?
I hope so. But people, so I can adequately and intelligently challenge them because I've heard their thought all the way through. So I really get annoyed and it's difficult because people who are uneducated, how are they supposed to know what is right from wrong? They don't. I
What's the problem, though?
I need a more formulated opinion on this whole thing.
This is the problem, though. I get annoyed when they vote for someone who's blatantly telling you he's going to take away this, and then they're surprised when it happens.
And now for a quick commercial break.
Hey guys, as you can hear, we are unapologetic in our opinions. We may be politically incorrect or possibly wrong, but don't knock us for being ourselves and saying what many are too afraid to admit out loud. Anyways, if you have any thoughts or questions about our show, email us at chemistryproductions@gmail.com. That's K3MISTRY productions@gmail.com. We'll be sure to address whatever you have to say.
Yeah. Like, I'm tired of them meaning whoever who is not really paying attention. We, and the good thing about it is we're not throwing color out. We're just saying, listen, for those who are
we discriminate against the toothless people.
Yes. You might be surprised because when it's all said and done, in these 4 years, you better believe Trump is going to try to overturn the affordable health care.
Yes.
But what he's going to say is, it's the Obamacare. And they're going to be like, yes, get rid of it. Get rid of it now. Get rid of it. And then when it's gone and it's overturned and he has nothing to put in that place, and they go to the doctor the next month and they're going to pull out their affordable health care. They're going to be like, wait a minute, why is this not working? And they're going to be like, because did you not watch the news? Yeah, they said Obamacare. They're like, no. Obamacare is a name that the Republicans made up. Affordable health care is the real name. Look at the name on your card. That's who they were talking about. I don't want to hear, I didn't know. You knew.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going to have to take it a step further. Before you vote, really, really just pay attention, and listen. I just feel like, because you're right. The fact that they're uneducated, it shows, right? And then they're not even paying attention to the fact that the Department of Education is the reason why they want to get rid of the Department of Education. For these rural areas that the schools are already crappy, imagine the Department of Education gone.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen now? Because now the state has to pay for that. But the state doesn't have any money.
What I will say, just doubling back right quick, I said I have to think about it and become more opinionated. I need to think about it to better formulate my opinion when it comes to uneducated folk. On one end, they are frustrating. However, on the other end, how could you expect them to be any better if they don't have access to the right information, or they don't know how to process information correctly because they weren't taught how to do so, right? So you have two areas there. What I will say is this. I do believe sometimes these uneducated, poorer areas, we do not do a good job of giving them more credit because these people do have some intellect. These people do have some common sense. It's just that they decide not to use it for one reason or another. Maybe they're misogynistic. Maybe they are flat out racist. Maybe they are ableist. So you have those different
Of course,
factors
I
at
don't
play
listen.
too.
Of course, I don't look at them like, oh, they don't know. They know, right? But the funny thing is, so in the fact that you know, don't be surprised. Don't be the first people. Don't put the camera in their face because I don't want to hear it. Like, I
Right.
don't want to hear it when I don't care when the federal workers get fired and you're one of the federal workers. You're like, I didn't really think he was going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Or like the illegal immigrants, right? I never forget. I saw 60 Minutes when this guy he owned a ranch, Jay Stokes, and he admitted he got a lot of illegal workers,
Undocumented immigrants there. Yeah.
undocumented immigrants. And he said on TV, I don't think he's going to deport none of these people because if he deports any of these people, he's going to cripple the economy. What happened on day 1 to day 5? It's still now. Exactly. So we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear when you're busy, when your door closes. We don't want to hear it. If the man said he's going to do it, he's going to do it. The difference between this time around and last time around, he did a lot of talking. Now he's surrounded by a lot of people who got their own agenda that's going to see this through.
That's correct.
That's true.
They're going to see it through.
And so speaking of which, first let's get into updates before we touch on that right quick. Updates are, we've been doing pretty well with our posting. Please make sure to keep on engaging with us on social media. That's Chemistry Productions, K3MISTRY Productions on social media. Specifically, we'd like for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're following us on TikTok, engaging with us there. We're on Lemonade, Instagram, Tumblr. Just continue to engage with us, y'all. We're really growing this platform. We want to give you good information from from mindsets that really process the information out there and try to make the best sense of this information.
Correct.
We're trying to do that because a lot of people are just opinionated, but don't take the time to process, don't take the time to think about both sides of an argument or truly help the people who they're speaking to. And we try to do that. We do try to do that.
And believe us, if we had something good to say about this administration, we'll say it. But so far, it hasn't been good. I mean, it just hasn't. I mean, so what good can we say about it? It hasn't been good. I mean, people are losing their jobs left and right. That has nothing to do with this. I mean, you know, DOGE is a made-up department that has more power than any other department I've ever seen that people had to get voted into.
Right.
Like,
and it's
a
so
made-up company. I mean, a made-up department.
Right. And it's so interesting to me that y'all focus so much on undocumented immigrants or immigrants in general taking y'all jobs when you have an immigrant literally as the head of DOGE who is calling the shots that are affecting the lives of people who are born in America. How does that sound?
And on top of that, you have a person, an immigrant that has his own agenda.
Yes.
Right.
His agenda so far is not beneficial to anybody. And, you know, like I said, it hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been 6 months yet. I just think that, you know, I don't have any hope. You know, I don't have any hope because, I mean, on face value, I can call it how I see it. And he is here to dismantle, destroy, cause chaos. We already have that already. Why we need a president to do that? You know,
True.
And that's what I'm saying. He has the right people around him now that's going to see it through.
True.
They wrote Project 2025 for a reason. They're going line by line. They're probably on chapter 3 now.
True.
Well,
and let's get into our topic of the day. What I will say is, though this current administration and the president has so many people in line with what he's saying, what he's doing, just following him no matter what, Chief Justice John Roberts of the Supreme Court has pushed back against him, saying that he cannot be escalating rhetoric against the federal judiciary, not calling for the impeachment of federally appointed judges who are blocking a lot of the actions that this administration are doing that is unconstitutional, that is illegal. And basically, this comes hours after the president stepped up his attacks on federal judges by specifically calling for U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, who has temporarily blocked the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members, to be impeached. So basically, the president called for that judge to be impeached because that judge temporarily blocked the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members. The problem is, if the U.S. president has a problem with these judges, you cannot just call for them to be impeached. And I thought that Supreme Court Justice John Roberts did a good job of saying, yo, you cannot do that. Just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean they need to be fired. You cannot do that because that is going to lead to chaos.
Correct. Because if you think about it, then why have checks and balances if you could get rid of the checks and balances?
Exactly. And that's why this whole White House press secretary, remember that? What's that girl name? What her name is?
Who, the one right now?
Yeah, the blonde girl.
I don't know her. Hey, did you know that she's married to allegedly one of Trump's donors?
Oh, word? Well,
Yeah.
that's not surprising. Carolyn Levitt. That's her name. Caroline Levin, whatever her name is. She's over here saying, oh, these are rogue judges that are defying the president's orders. The president is not a king. This is not a dictatorship.
No.
It's not defying any orders. It's saying, yo, there are checks and balances in this country. And if we see something that you're doing that does not align with the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, we got to check that.
They have to check it. Don't forget, everybody that's complicit is going to go down in history. Everyone that fights back is going to go down in history. What side of history you want to be on?
Facts.
And when it's all said and done, when you look at everything as a whole, why are you mad that this judge is doing his job?
Facts.
He's appointed regardless on who did what. Because I think they try to say that this judge was a Democrat, when in reality, this judge was selected back when
Bush was president. Yeah.
Bush was president. And only thing Obama did was
elevate him. Yeah.
And 92 Republicans voted him in. So at the end of the day, come on. Stop. And this is the problem. They are weaponizing Democrats and Republicans. They're weaponizing that.
Yeah. And this wasn't Justice Roberts. This isn't Chief Justice Roberts we're talking about. We're talking about the one that pushed back against the Venezuelan gang members one. Yeah, but go ahead, Jay.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. And also, what Elon is doing is weaponizing a shadow government, which in reality he's the shadow government. But he's weaponizing the shadow government by saying, "I know someone is funding these people, Democrats, to come bomb my store, shoot into the store."
That's not true.
That's not true. Like, prove it. Prove it like we want you to prove that $72 billion you found in fraud. Prove it like we want you to prove it. Prove that we have people that's 300 years old still getting Social Security checks. Prove it. Because I need to see Moses and Jacob from the Bible. Okay, that's what I need to see. I need to see these people. So I know we bringing in humor. I know we run out of time. But I just want to say, these words, DEI was weaponized so they can't be used anymore. Now they're trying to just weaponize Democrats, Republicans, and put all of us common folks against each other. In reality, they're friends. They're going out to dinner together.
Hey, yo, listen here, though. We taking back the word woke, okay? We taking back woke. All right.
Woke is not a bad word.
Woke and y'all, just because y'all know what it means doesn't mean it's something nefarious.
Yeah. Woke is not a bad word, man.
Nah, we taking that back. So for those who know, stay woke.
Yeah, stay woke, man. Listen, you got options: red pill, green pill.
And that's the way to end it, Jay. That's the way to end it. Love it.
All right.
All right, bro.
Yo.
Till next time. Am I going to see you on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not traveling. I'll be here Sunday.
Okay. Man, I had to hold down the fort by myself, fighting off all these trolls on my own, man.
Yeah, Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's try to stick to that time.
Sounds good.
All right. Peace.
So go a little something like this. That's AVIOT.